Hello, my name is Ryan, and my group is me, Braden, and Nick. We are doing this presentation on the Korean and Vietnam Wars. On June 25th, 1950, North Korea invaded the South to mark the start of the Korean War. The countries involved were North Korea, South Korea, the Soviet Union. The allies of the South were the U.S., the United Nations. The allies of North Korea were the Soviet Union and the People's Republic of China. A turning point in the war was when South Korea pushed North Korea back up to the 38th parallel, causing a stalemate. Bombings were used to prevent shipments from coming in. U.S. dropped 635,000 bombs and 32,557 tons of napalm on Korea. Turning point was when Korea was pushed back to the 38th parallel. The outcome of the Korean War was after 2 years of fighting, the war ended with an armistice. The war resulted in a stalemate. There still is no peace treaty to this day, which means technically the countries are still at war. The 38th parallel was a temporary border made to separate the two Koreas. It still separates the Koreas to this day. 5 million people, North and South Koreans, died in the war. Now, the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War started on November 1st, 1955. The main countries involved were North and South Vietnam, the Soviet Union, China, and the United States. The United States and the United Nations were on the side of the South Vietnamese, and the Soviet Union and the Chinese allied with North Vietnam. The turning point in the Vietnam War was when the Viet Cong began siding with the North Vietnamese army and ambushing the American and South Vietnamese troops. Some strategies that were used was guerrilla warfare, which has many different tactics such as hit and runs, sabotages, armed civilians, and ambushes. There were tunnels under South Korea that the North Vietnamese army and the Viet Cong used to ambush the South Vietnamese army. 20 million gallons of Agent Orange were used on Vietnam. The Tet Offensive was one of the main strategies that led to the South Vietnamese losing the war. The outcome of the war was that the U.S. troops withdrew from Vietnam after the war became increasingly unpopular in the United States. After the United States withdrew from the war, the North Vietnamese army conquered the South Army. The main reasons the U.S. was involved in both the wars was because they feared communism would spread if the countries were taken over by communism. The U.S. called this theory the domino effect. Both countries did not end the way the U.S. wanted it, with Vietnam being completely taken by communism and the Korean War being split between communism and democracy. That's it.